There are as many reasons for missing a bird as there are for hitting one, but today we want to redress the balance. William Powell Gunmakers has chosen a deep flowing drive on the Hexton Estate in Bedfordshire to show off their range of side-by-sides and over and unders as part of a free try before you buy day. The estate has been a shooting venue since the mid-1700s and its beats are more reminiscent of the West Country than a village an hour from central London.
We're hosting an event today because it's a great opportunity for visitors to come along and try and use our guns. A gun is a big investment to people. You know, you wouldn't buy a car without test driving it first, but plenty of people buy guns for £10,000 without trying them.
On hand are some of this traditional gunmaker's gunroom staff to ensure these very smart guns fit you like a glove. Who knows how many shotgun owners are out there with ill-fitting 12 bores. Imagine if Beckham wore boots 2 sizes too big for him. He wouldn't be a shooting god, and neither will you be if you're not comfortable.
People might come into the gunroom, they pick up a gun. I've just got one of the pals here. They close it up in the gun room, it's all empty, and they just close it up and they'd mount it. And it's very easy for you in that false situation when you're not shooting, you're not under pressure, to mount a gun and you make your body fit the gun. And you fundamentally do lots of different things to make you fit the gun. For instance, with this gun, if I put my hand just a bit further along the barrel, and all I do is when I mount this gun, if I mount it up, you can clearly see now that my head is very far back on the stock. The stock looks massively long for me. Not change the gun at all, place my hand down on the action, mount the same gun, and suddenly, to get my eyes in the right position, my nose is right up on top of the gun, and the gun again, the stock length is wrong for me, totally wrong. All I need to do, and coincidentally this gun does actually fit me, put my hand where it should be on the middle of the forend with an over and under, and if I just mount it there, it's virtually in the right sort of place. And the difference is depending on where you mount the gun and how you falsify it, you can make it fit you, unfit you, and do whatever you want.
Now a day like this is the perfect moment to announce the arrival of a new shotgun. William Powell this week has launched a new over and under model that will go head to head with the likes of Beretta's highly popular Silver Pigeon. William Powell's Perseus is under £1,800 and is targeting the entry-level shotgun who wants something a little different.
There's believed to be 7 Berettas for every other gun in the country, so it's an extremely common gun. Nothing wrong with that, perfectly good gun, but it's always nice to have something different.
This is the first time the Old English gunmaker has done this sort of thing, and it has attracted guns from near and far. Mark Bladen and his friend are on familiar territory. They shoot the simulated and the game days offered here at Hexton. Mark's in the market for a new William Powell Perseus.
Come back today because the offer of having the gun completely fitted for you and measured seemed too good to be true. So it was very important to come here and get a gun fitted, made to measure.
Matthew now takes Mark through the process of ensuring his William Powell doesn't just look beautiful, but fits beautifully too.
Needs to be a little bit lower there.
Yeah.
I'm seeing.
Yeah, I can see all of your eye.
Yeah.
Is the honest truth. I can see all of it and just a bit underneath.
Yeah.
So what I'll probably do is I'll just bring the comb down a little bit for you. No, that looks about right to me. That's perfect. I can see all of your eye.
The stock used for the fittings can be pushed and pulled in all directions. The size of our chest, face, shoulders all need to be taken into consideration. So if you've gone up a neck size from 16 to 18 inches, your gun won't fit you quite as well as it once did. These guys cannot stress the importance enough of a well-fitted gun, so why not grab your unloaded shotgun, stick yourself in front of a mirror and see if you are moulding yourself to your gun or whether the gun moulds to you.
Right, we're going to look at the 4 movements in which we can move the gun. We're looking at the length, the bend, the height of the comb and the cast. First of all, we're going to look at the length of the gun, and on the tri-gun we can alter this by altering these screws and this. So what I'm going to ask Andrew to do is first of all just mount the gun up into the sky and we'll have a look at the length. Right, whilst we're looking at Andrew at the moment, he's got his hand in a reasonable position in the middle of the forend. But if we come back round here and we look at his positioning of the back of his hand to his nose, we can probably fit 3, possibly 4 fingers in. The perfect length we're looking at is probably to fit 2 fingers in. So if Andrew dismounts the gun now, and what I'll do is I'll just undo these and shorten the stock. So if you just mount the gun up again, Andrew, let's have a look, see where you are. Okie dokie, yep, no, that looks about right. If we just pop in, we can see we've got 2 fingers. Andrew just moves his head forward, a better position of his head, and we can see he's got 2 fingers width between the back of his hand and his thing. Next we're going to look at the bend of the stock. So if Andrew just moves his hand there, we can see that the stock is coming down on this angle, and what it creates is different lengths from the trigger pull to what we call the mid, the toe and the heel of the gun. And this truly goes back to the actual shape of your shoulder to your breast. And as you can see, mine is relatively fat, but a larger person may have one that's more sloping. So what I'll just do on this is just ask Andrew to mount it up and see if it fits nicely into this curve of his shoulder. If you just dismount it a minute, Andrew, and do that up, we can actually see what's going on. So as we can see there, if I just come round and ask Andrew to just let go with his left hand, keep it there, we can see that the flat of the stock there is perfectly in line with his shoulder. If he was a little bit larger, it would be tucked in and we'd have a gap at the top. If he was much smaller, the opposite would happen and we'd have a gap at the bottom. So we can tell that is a sort of perfect bend length for Andrew. Thirdly, we'll go on to look at the cast. Andrew is a right-handed shot, as we can see by the way he's mounting the gun, and typically a right-handed shot will have cast on or off. As I know Andrew, he's a right-handed shot, shoots with both eyes open and shoots with a dominant right eye. I know that he will roughly be around an 1/8 cast off on the gun. So I already know that this gun is cast off to that. And what we can do is go back to my demonstration earlier of when we're looking, the gun is empty, is all we do is look down the end of the gun, and I can see that there's a slight curve on the cast of the gun. As I look down it to the left hand side, and that tells me that it's cast off. When we're looking at the height of the comb, what we do is we measure back from the flat of the gun all the way back through to the back, and we have 3 measurements. We measure the height at the comb, height at the face, which is the midpoint, and height at the heel. And we measure those because actually the cast and the bend of the gun will actually change that, but also you need to know how high up the distance to where the face is to where the eye sits on the barrel. So what I'll ask Andrew to do this one is I'll ask him, I know the gun is empty, so I'll ask him to shut the gun and just mount the gun at 90 degrees or flat to him, and just mount it flat straight out. What I do then is I'll come around the side and I'll just come around to this side and I'll look down the barrel. Now if you come round at this end, you will be able to see that looking straight down the barrel, and if you can hold that there, Andrew, if you look down the barrel you can see all of Andrew's eye and a small piece of his eyelid at the bottom. His eye then is looking over the top of the gun, and his perception to the end of the gun is coming down onto here. And if I completely raise the gun up like this, and Andrew tells me what he can see, what are you starting to see now?
Just lots of gun. Lots of
gun. Can you see what the end of the gun's doing?
No.
Not a thing. Right, so what we'd need to do in that instance is we need to look at the height of the comb. So we'll go back to the gun and the keys. And what we'll do, they're very easy to manipulate these guns. You just slightly undo the screws, and just from my guess work, and it really is sort of guesswork, trial and error, getting some feedback from your client, exactly where they think it should be, and obviously experience with the shape of people will help. So if you do the same exercise again, if you can just mount that gun, perfect, and I'll just come around this end, we know it's empty, and come round and look at Andrew. If I look straight down there, I can see all of his eye. There's a possibility that the end of the gun is just covering the bottom of the colour piece of his eye. So what I think I'll do now, if Andrew just drops the gun down a little bit again, I'll just lift it a tiny bit. The tiny measurement will make a difference. Obviously when everything goes up to a further distance away, a few millimetres at this end can make a massive difference on the bird that is 30-40 yards away. Let's see what's going on there. So if you just mount that up again, Andrew, and I'll come around again and just have a look, and I can see all of his eye there now. So if I lift his gun up now and I keep raising it, and you should now be able to see at the end of the gun all the way up through, and even when he gets to this point where he's going to shoot his very high pheasant, he should still be looking all the way down the end of his gun, which I hope you are, Andrew.
That's correct, yeah.
So if you bring it back down and mount to the camera, you'll be able to see that you can see the full piece of his eye. You smoke that one. And that one.
The fitting has definitely worked for Andrew, and we hope it's also helped you spot whether your gun is a bit rough on the shoulder.
Better, isn't it?
Very good, yeah, loving it.
William Powell is keen to do more of these events for customers to come along, have a pop at a few good clays and consider one of their range of guns. For more information about both game and simulated days at Hexton, contact William Powell Sporting at williampowellsporting.co.uk, and for more information about the guns, visit williampowell.com.